From the Wayne County Courthouse in Goldsboro, North Carolina, Wayne Goldsboro Television brings you the meeting of the Wayne County Board of Commissioners. Please stand by for the Wayne County Board of Commissioners meeting.
Good morning. Well, we got a crowd here this morning. It's like a special day, so we'll start with the invocation. Let's roll call.
So I will bow our heads. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for today. Thank you for your many blessings. God, we ask that you lead and guide us as officials of this great county of Wayne to make the right decisions for the people that we represent. We feel like that all of our citizens deserves the best at decisions that we can make for them. We also ask that you are with our representatives, our senators, our governor in Raleigh to guide and lead them to make the best decisions that they can for all of the citizens of Wayne County and North Carolina. We also ask for your guidance with our congressmen, our senators, and our president in Washington. At times it looks as we have issues of different personalities interrupting the flow of government in Raleigh and in Washington, but we ask for your guidance in all of our elected officials in making the right decisions for all of us. Also, we ask that you be with our men and women in uniform, in the military, all over the world that has sacrificed so much and are sacrificing so much for the freedom that we have in this great country of ours. And we also ask that you be with our first responders here in the county and over the state that sacrifice so much, put their life on the line for us every day to protect us. We ask all of this in your name. We ask for your blessings. In your Heavenly Father, amen.
Join me with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Has everybody had an opportunity to review the minutes?
I move approval.
Move approval. We have a motion on the floor to approve the minutes. Any discussion? All right, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. The minutes are approved. Mr. Wood, we have some adjustments to the agenda. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. We've got 3 adjustments. All of them will go under new business. The first one is item number 6, motion to award the request for proposals for the Maxwell Center brick pavers. Item number 7 is a motion to approve the subdivision plat for Grayson's Creek subdivision section 2. Item number 8 is a motion to approve the sale of surplus property owned jointly with the city of Goldsboro.
Okay, are there any other adjustments? Commissioner, add anything to the agenda? All right, motion to approve the agenda.
Motion.
We have a motion on the floor. Is there more discussion? All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Thank you. Now we're getting into the best part of today. We're going to be talking about a little special recognition, and Edwards, Paula Edwards.
It's technically not Paula.
Oh, it's not? Well, why have you got her name there? Oh, who's this guy? Hey, Don. Good morning, Senator.
Okay. Good morning to our chair and to our distinguished and honorable commissioners. I'm not Paula Edwards. I do not look as good as Paula, but I'm going to do the best I can today. And also to the staff that keeps this county running, to include the new official Wayne County timer, the mayor of Goldsboro. At this time, I'm going to ask if I can stand aside, and I'm going to ask for the Honorable Representative John Bell to join me up front. And we also And we also would like to let you know that there's a superstar, a rock star that's with us today that we would like to invite to come forward, and that's Miss BOC. Good morning, dear.
Good morning.
How are you?
Fine.
So good to see you.
Thank you.
I want you to stand between us because we want to say some good things about
Hey,
you.
how are you?
You want me to do the presentation, or would you like?
I will just have comments on both of the
Well,
presentations.
first of all, you really can't describe what you and your family have done for our community. And I want to thank you for everything that you've done. I've even witnessed you coming up to Raleigh and lobbying for issues. We got them done. And the work you've done with our seniors in our senior center. Just thank, on behalf of me and my family and all the other citizens I represent here in Wayne County, thank you for the work and the effort that you put in and what you continue to do today. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'd like to say that I represented Wayne County for 26 years as the North Carolina Senior Legislature. Sometimes it was easy, sometimes it wasn't, but I had good support from my county and my family and my church. And my church means a lot to me, St. Paul Methodist Church. And this is what has made my life so happy. To see Wayne County do the many things for its people. If you would go to the senior center and see what is going on and the help and the food that those people get. So many of them were eating just noodles with no food value. And now they can get a balanced meal. They're not going to the doctor as much, and it's saving the county a lot of money. And thank you for all the things you still do for all the people. I want to thank my family for their support. It could not have been done if it hadn't been for them. And thank you.
Miss Higgins, you've given a wonderful acceptance speech, but we ought to give you something. You took a few of my lines, but I'm going to say on behalf of the state of North Carolina, and standing represented today on our General Assembly, representing the House, Representative Bell, myself representing the Senate, and obviously we were gathered one time, and you're so special and so loved that you had your own day around you. Do you remember that? And I showed up, and everybody, the family, they were all there and very supportive, and people from all across the community was there. And the place was packed because people realized the impact that you've made not only in their lives, but to this community. And it started well beyond 1993, but here it is in 1993. That's when we started the Tar Heel, the North Carolina Tar Heel legislature. And you became a delegate representing Wayne County. And you continue to represent Wayne County up until what, a few months ago?
A few months ago.
Absolutely. And in that capacity, Ms. Beatty has advocated, as Representative Bell said, so many issues, including one that probably stood out to you, Senate Bill 542, which you were working hard to make sure that anybody that's in a long-term care facility, you want to make sure the staff are equipped to be there, and it required mandatory drug testing, to make sure the staff is up to par. Your countless hours in giving your time to stop by all of the facilities here in Wayne County, and that's part of your Sunday visit, your Sunday routine. And I truly count you personally as an angel and God sent for this community to go around to make sure that those who perhaps, are not in the same situation and circumstances that others are, that they too are able to get the best life and treatment. Have that. You advocated, watch this, as I talked about being God-sent and being somewhat of our own angel here on earth, to make sure that that prayer room stayed open. We appreciate every single thing. And I remember being at your day when we celebrated you, and I was just curious if you had received the highest award that the state could present. I was shocked that the answer was no. But we're about to take care of that. You said it too. But I want to let you know that I remember that day so well. I remember the cake sitting right there. It was a nice looking cake. And I want you to know today that you're the icing on our cake. This is a sweet moment. How sweet it is. Because now you're about to be presented on behalf of the governor and join here the House and the Senate the order of the Longleaf Hunt. And this means this is not only the most prestigious award on behalf of the state. We started this in 1964. There have been many great people that's been placed on this list. People such as Andy Griffin, Billy Graham, Oprah Winfrey, Michael Jordan, Richard Petty, Bill, yeah, good memory. William Friday, Maya Angelou, just so many, even many right here in this community. Well, guess what? Your name will be appropriately fitting to be on this list. Congratulations to you on behalf of the state of North Carolina for all that you mean to us and all that you've done over the years. Thank you.
Support that anyone could ever have. And I want to thank Martha.
Miss Peggy, who knows what?
They did bring the whole family.
They did.
Yeah. These so you That's why,
How many more of those we have to do out there at the convention?
Hey, John. All right, then, let's get ready to move ahead. I'm going to skip on the agenda just a little bit. The great mayor of Goldsboro is here, and he wanted me to allow him a couple of minutes at the podium, so if you'll come on up, Mayor.
Good morning, gentlemen. Always a pleasure to be here at the county. It's good to see all of you. I did come over this morning for this special moment for Ms. Seegers, but I brought with me one of our interns and two of our summer youth that are working through our summer youth program at the city. And I just wanted y'all to say hey to them. I wanted them to see what the county does. I told them the county's got it down perfect, and we're just trying to be like the county over at the city. But if y'all would, Holly, just come up, introduce yourself to Sean. Y'all come up here and tell them, come on, we gotta do this now, let's go. Just tell them what you're doing. Holly's at Pembroke, and she's interning for free this summer, so we like her a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Just tell them real quick what you're doing, and we'll get out of the way.
My name is Holly Jones. I attend UNC Pembroke. I'm getting my master's in public administration. I'm hoping one day I'm going to be sitting up there with you guys, actually.
I pity you.
Well, that's the next step before Congress.
You might want, yeah, you might want to give that a second thought.
I'm just happy to be here.
Great.
My name is Elijah Pace, and I go to Wayne School of Engineering, and I'm a rising junior.
All right.
Hi. Hi.
My name is Deshaun Davis, and I am a rising senior at Eastern High School.
Great. So we just wanted them to come see what government does over here. We told them about the sheriff. I think they've met with Mr. Wood a couple times, and they get to see Ms. Seeger, somebody who's given a lifelong service. And so if you give a lifelong service, you can aspire to get the long leave time as well. Okay. But anyway, thank y'all.
Well, I was kidding a while ago, but it's inspiring that we've got young folks who really want to step up and serve their community, because we really do need your help, and that's a fact. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Y'all have a great day.
All right, we have another special recognition this morning. Do we need to come down in front for this one?
It's my first time, why not?
Yeah. I don't remember. We don't. But
Yes, for Steve we did.
For Steve we did. Hey, Marcia. Yeah.
Good morning, Commissioners. At this time, I'll ask Steve Mazingo to join me up here, please.
Well, he definitely has retired.
I told him I didn't know if I'd be able to present this or not, because he won't follow the protocol and policy, but this is a pleasure that we have, sort of bittersweet that we have a captain of our office retiring, but I wish him the very best, and he has served under 3 sheriffs, I think, in his career, and so that speaks admirably of Captain Steve Mazingo. So at this time, I'd like to present this to Captain Stephen Mazingo, July 26, 1991 through May 31st, 2017, for meritorious service, dedication, loyalty, and friendship, and professionalism that you have demonstrated during your career. Your presence will be missed, but your accomplishments will not be forgotten. And Captain, this is your service weapon that you carried protecting Wayne County during your career. Thank you for your service. And I have a plaque here for you also. Presented to Steve Mazingo, Sheriff's Office, in appreciation of dedicated service as a county employee, July 26, 1991 to May 31st, 2017, the County of Wayne, North Carolina. Thanks, sir. If you want, Commissioners will shake your hand.
Thank you, sir.
Pat. Pat's getting your picture.
I'm going to have 30 full years.
Yeah, just don't drop it down.
always think, well, I'm here 30 years, never had to pull a trigger.
We do have another recognition.
We're already down here.
Okay, okay.
Do we need a motion?
Yes.
I word it, a little bit.
Need a motion to thank him for his years of service and to award him that service done.
I make a motion that we, award Steve's service weapon to him and thank him for all his years.
At this time, I'll ask Sergeant Jason Hill to join me. Approximately a year and a half ago, we started a new program here in Wayne County with a DWI task force. Sergeant Hill was instrumental in applying for grants to present to you for approval, and you did approve that for the grant to be brought into our county to start the task force. And with only a year and a half in progress, Sergeant Hill was awarded the County Law Enforcement Partner of the Year by the North Carolina Governor's Commission on Highway Safety. And that was awarded him this past March. I asked him to bring this award to be presented this morning to you two and show you what an excellent job I think the DWI Task Force is doing and how much we appreciate what they're doing. Actually, the task force is a four-man task force, but they are statistically up to par with a 6 to 8 man task force statewide with what they're doing. So I commend him on his service, and Sergeant Hill, thank you so much for what you've done.
Yes, sir.
And I don't have any questions about what the task force does or what they're doing at this time. I'll turn that over to you at this time.
Y'all got anything? I will tell you, since we started October 1st of 2016 was when we started. 16? 15. 15. We have arrested and charged over, we're getting close to about 500 DWIs so far. Right now, since October 1st in 2016 till now, we're at about 240. So we've already surpassed what we did last year, the last grant year, which was, like the Sheriff said, statistically right in line with Wake County, which is a 6-man team. So the guys that I work with, you know, that's who got this right here. Them guys are out every night working hard, and it's showing.
Is there a lot of repeat offenders? I think they've
Yes.
learned by now.
Yes, there is a lot of repeat. And one way we've been able to kind of keep track of that is if somebody is revoked for driving while impaired, then if they are charged with another driving while impaired offense, their vehicle is seized. We've seized about 70 cars since the task force has started. They're seized and turned over to the state. So at least 70, and there's more. There's definitely more repeat offenders, but I'll just leave it at that.
Congratulations, you and your staff.
Thank you, sir.
Apparently, you exceeded your expectations. Did you have any goals set in mind?
Yes, sir. Every year with the grant, there's a goal that we set, and it's a percentage of whatever was last year. Like this year, 35% more DWIRS than what was accomplished last year, which that number would have been 282. So we're almost there. So
What is the biggest characteristic of a person you decide to pull over whenever you decide to pull a car? What's the biggest characteristic that you look at?
Well, It could be anything. These guys are out doing traffic enforcement, so any traffic violation, they're stopping cars. They're not necessarily writing tickets, but they're stopping the vehicles. And a lot of times we find that you know, they're impaired, whether it's a run red light, you know, an illegal turn, or even you know, speeding, something like that. Now, and that's not to say that sometimes you do see, you know, impaired drivers that are weaving all over the road, but a lot of times it's just in a normal traffic offense. And when you get to the car, you smell the alcohol, and it's kind of on from there. But, which, so far this year, we've stopped, I want to say, I don't have the exact figure, but it's somewhere in the neighborhood of about 2,200-2,300 vehicles.
And you're targeting certain streets, certain roads?
Not really. Obviously, we're gonna target the areas where alcohol's sold, because that's where the impaired drivers are.
ABC stores?
Yes, sir. Bars, ABC stores, you know, clubs with alcohol sold there. Obviously, we're going to be in that area, because I mean, that's where the impaired drivers are. But we're all over the county, as much as we can be with four men. Right.
And that's kind of like going fishing. If you're going to go fishing, you got to go to the pond.
Yes, sir. You got to go where the fish are.
We appreciate your work. Thanks.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we're a bit behind, but we can try to catch up a little bit. We'll go into the public comment section. If you want to make some comments, leave your name, your address, and your phone number. Please come to the mic. It's open.
Good morning. My name is Lisa Siobhan Stanley. I live at 916 Bryan Boulevard. I've been here before. I'm here again, and I'll be here till the cows come home until y'all help me get this problem at Bosco Beach straightened out. They are still riding on FEMA land. That land cannot be used. And this is where they pull the lease on Mr. Jack Bennett's property, because you can't ride on commercial there. And I'll give Mr. Parker a list, and I want to give y'all one of where his lease was pulled on that land. This coming Saturday, they're gonna have a big concert down there, and probably they will use the land the city owns and the county owns, which is illegal. Okay, there's gonna be drinking and driving, and we can help that guy get his quota if they'll just be there after they close that shop down. He can surpass what he's already got this year, because they're gonna be driving and drinking. And I have a concern about it, because I live out there. And the last time they had one of these big parties out there, or a commercial thing, which is code 4 or whatever it is, I couldn't even get in and out of my house, the driveway. I had to walk. And the sheriff, actually the deputy sheriffs were driving across my front lawn to get to Bosco Beach. They couldn't get the rescue squad down there, so they brought one that was injured out on one of the little four-wheelers and had to take him up to the cemetery, if you're familiar with that area. We need to stop this.
it's illegal for them to be using FEMA land. I did check with Washington DC, and I've also checked with FEMA in Georgia. And they said you cannot use the FEMA land for commercial use. Now, these concerts, I believe, is commercial. Am I correct?
We're working on the leases and we're working on all the issues that you have.
Well, I don't think that land can be leased out to a profitable organization like Smart Investments.
It can be leased, it's how they use it is the question.
Well, if I can't use it for commercial, the land that I've got leased, they shouldn't be able to use it for commercial.
I agree with you.
And you probably helped write up some of the leases. And that tells you right there on Mr. Bennett, it says it can't be used for commercial use. So I'd like somebody to help me this weekend so I can get in and out of my house on Saturday. Can you do it? I got no answers. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Stanley. Ms. Terry.
Steve L. Herring, 349 Weaver Road, Goldsboro, NC. Saw in the paper here a few weeks ago where the city is wanting the county to take over catching the animals and all in the city limits. The county is already, the city has quit serving warrants in the city. The county is having to pick that up and serve the warrants for people. Wayne County had a memorial, Goldsboro had a Goldsboro Hospital at one time. Then they turned it over to the county to run. Goldsboro had a municipal airport one time. Then they turned it over to the county to run. Goldsboro had a library at one time. They turned it over to the county to run. Goldsboro had one of the best school systems in Wayne County at one time. They turned it over to the county to run. They used to have their own, they had their own police department, and they had their own judges up there at the police station, where if anybody got a ticket or anything, they could go to city court. I know because I paid more a fine up there for speeding. Now the county is going to have to buy water from the city, which I don't think should be forced, but that's a federal mandate, I understand. The only thing they got left, the county is doing all the jailing for the city. I just don't know how much more responsibility the county taxpayers can pay of what the city should be doing. I think somebody needs to look into it, because they have promised to pay so much money for to help offset the county doing the dog catching work. I got a feeling that the city offered so much money if the county would take the library, if they take the airport, if they take the hospital, and if they serve papers in the county, but chances are that money that the city promised the county to do police all this has been dropped by the wayside. We're not getting that anymore. Probably not getting that money. We need to look into that. If the city keeps on giving their responsibilities away, we might as well do away with the city council and the police department and just have a county force. There's no need to having an inspections department, administration in the city and the county too. some of it is being duplicated. And I'd like to see the county deny, if they have it already, I'd like to see them go ahead and deny catching dogs and cats in the city. We just don't need that, no more on the county taxpayers. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Harrell. Is anyone else wants to speak? Okay. No one else, we'll close the public comment period. It's closed. We'll move on to the appointment committee. Mr. Gurley.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. We met this morning. We'd like to recommend the appointment of Ryan Fields to the Wayne County Public Library Board of Advisors, and I'd like to put that in form of a motion.
We have a motion on the floor. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Approved.
We'd like to recommend the reappointment of Mary Bartlett to the Wayne County Public Library Board of Advisors. I'd like to put this in form of a motion.
Motion on the floor. Is there any discussion? All in favor, please raise your right hand.
And our last one is, we would like to recommend the appointment of Joe DeMacco to the Wayne Community College Board of Trustees. I'll put this in form of a motion.
Have a motion on the floor. Is there any discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I would like to amend that motion.
Okay.
And before I amend the motion, I would ask you to bear with me a minute. The person who was previously serving on that board served graciously for, I think, probably 3 terms. And she's previously, prior to this change, serving as chairperson. And as I understand it, a letter came to the county office around May the 23rd, or probably the letter may have been written around May the 23rd, requesting that Ms. Vita McNair be retained in that position as chairman of the Wayne Community College Trustee Board. And if information serves me correct, it was signed off by the vice chair of Mr. Jackson. And one of the things that make this, I would use the word important for me to bring out, is that I've been called by some of my minority constituency that it's becoming obvious to them that you're losing broad representation. If information serves me correctly, Ms. Vita McNair and another minority gentleman were the last of 2 Afro-Americans serving on the Wayne Community College Board. And as of this change this in the process, Wayne Community College, unless my information is incorrect, would not have an Afro-American serving on that board. As I understand it, Ms. McNair might have been one of 2 females. And so it looks like that the Wayne Community College Board will be, for all intents and purposes, without minority or at least Afro-American representation. I would only want to bring it to this board's attention that there are other committee appointments that are coming up throughout the county, and I would ask for careful consideration for future appointments so that citizens of Wayne County will be able to look at boards and see a cross-section that's representative of the population in Wayne County. So upon that, I would like to formally make a motion that Ms. Vita McNair be given another term to serve on the Wayne Community College Board. And one aside, she also serves on a state board of trustees related to the community college environment. I put that in the form of a motion, an amended motion.
We have an amended motion on the floor. Is there any discussion?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to correct Mr. Camardi on one of his statements. There's 5 females on the Board of Trustees at Wayne Community College.
And I stand correct if that's true. I didn't say that and I said if my information was incorrect, but the one particular one that I'm speaking about is Ms. McNair. And is any of that 5 that's left a minority, Afro-American?
No, sir.
I would ask you this question, Mr. Acock, since you are sharing information with us. You serve on that board, don't you?
Yes, sir.
Were you part of the effort concerning the letter that came to us requesting that Ms. McNair be retained on that board?
No, sir.
You were not part of that?
No, sir.
If it came from the vice chairperson, would he not have gotten some direction from the board at large?
You'd have to ask him, sir. I do not.
Well, that was
I
just
can't
maybe a
answer
rhetorical
that
question because
for him.
it would bring to my thinking that if our chairperson, vice chairperson, wrote a letter reflecting our position, that we should all have had an opportunity to have some voter input into that. And I was wondering if boards around the county and trustee boards are operating in different manners than what we should all be operating on. So that's just the reason I asked that question.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to amend Ed's motion and make a motion to, amend the motion to refer this back to the appointment committee to look into this further. This is a state appointed position, I understand? Is that, it's not a state appointment?
No.
Okay. I would amend your motion to send it back to the appointment committee, and 2 weeks from now, come to us with a definitive appointed.
Just as a comment, Mr. Mayo, I thoroughly appreciate that amended motion. I made the amended motion, but I appreciate yours because what it does is it will give all of us time to not only have something definitive to see and look at about this appointment, but make sure that as we go down the road to other appointments, we are working on being reflective of our entire community. Thank you very much. And I withdraw my a motion to yield to yours, if that's appropriate, Attorney. Is that appropriate?
You may withdraw your motion.
So we have an amended amendment on the floor, or is just amendment?
Just have Commissioner Mayo's motion amendment now.
All right. Is there any discussion on Mr. Mayo's amendment? All those in favor of the amendment, please raise your right hand. Those opposed? Now we're back to the original motion, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All those in favor of the motion for General Marco, if you'll please raise your right hand. Up first, is there any more discussion?
Nope.
Okay, those raise your right hand. Those opposed? It's 4, 3, 2. Thank you. Any more? Any more?
That's all.
Okay. I'm going to break away from the agenda just a minute because we've got some 5 people sitting on the front row here today. And Craig, do you want to introduce?
I think Carol is.
Carol?
Yes, good morning. We have interns from the North Carolina Association of County Commissioners this morning. Ryan Feltz, Granville County. And Victoria, I know you told me how to say this once before, Danukas? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. She grew up in Guilford and now lives in Durham. Dominique Walker, who is a Massachusetts native, but we're trying to make her Southern. She's in Durham County. And Samuel Mills from Guilford County. Welcome. Did you want to say anything to them or have them speak?
Hey. I hope you guys are learning a lot. Is this the first board that you met with? Or?
County 2 weeks ago.
With who?
Forsyth County.
So your future endeavors be a board member or an elected official or working in government? Anybody?
Yeah. It'd be best if one of you could come up to the podium so they can actually.
Now, about a month ago, I had a whole room full of second graders, and they were about to fight each other to get to that mic. So come on up here.
I think it's different for all of us, but
tend to do, I'm personally in grad school at Duke getting my PhD in political science. So I plan to do something researchy in the local government field, but I'm not exactly sure what. I think you all can see.
Good morning. Again, my name is Dominique Walker. I'm a graduate student at the North Carolina Central University in Durham. I'm going into my last year of my degree. I'm getting my Master of Public Administration. My focus of interest is county government, as well as public policy and economic development.
Great.
Good morning. My name is Sam Mills, and I'm a senior at East Carolina University. My major is geography with a focus in geospatial analysis. So this summer, I'm updating the figures for the map book production that the association produces every year.
You did see ECU, didn't you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So we got another, I said.
I'm Ryan Feltz, as she said, and yeah, I'm a senior at ECU this coming up year, studying risk management and insurance. So I'm working with the association's risk pool, kind of just helping them out with whatever they really need.
I appreciate every you guys come in to sit today. You can see even some ECU grads can make it up here, so it can happen, and we're all over the place.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
I would like to also say thank y'all. I mean, y'all are the future of our state, our nation. But we're not going to be around forever. I mean, y'all at some point, any of y'all could be sitting in our position or even a higher position. So thank you for getting involved and thinking and someday be future leaders of this state or somewhere else in the nation. Thank y'all.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
I won't take the opportunity to ask the young man who's the insurance risk expert, but
Wouldn't say expert.
take this as a added challenge. Watch out for folks' interests who sometimes do not have a strong position when they're dealing with insurance situations. I'll just put it like that. I've never met anyone that before that said they were involved in what you're involved in. But I think any side of that issue, I know that you can make money out of it, but try to be on the side of the folk who really need your help. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I would just like to make one quick comment. Once you, if you ever decide to run for office, run for a political office, use your political persuasion to get elected. Once you get elected, do what's right for your constituents. Forget about politics after you get elected. Thank you.
Right, again, thanks for coming. Let's move on. We're in unfinished business, and I think Mr. Cracker's going to come up and talk to us about open broadband, which is something that is sorely needed in this county, across the state of North Carolina. And you have the floor, sir.
Good morning. Good morning. Let's go back and let me refresh everybody's memory on our project as a whole. A couple of years ago, the manager came to me and the chairman came to me with a project that we were servicing or accessing high-speed internet in our county in the rural areas. We worked with the North Carolina Department of Commerce high-speed internet program, George Collier. We put together a survey in Spanish and in English. We worked through getting those results back and preparing background maps and information for internet service providers. We held a large internet service provider meeting here in the county. We had great response to that, but we got no proposals out of it. So after receiving no proposals, we decided we put out a request for interest with the help of George Collier. And we wrote that, we put that out, and we did receive 3 proposals. 3 companies proposed projects, and Open Broadband was one of these companies that we the committee decided to go with. And so what we have here is what they proposed was actually a fixed wireless internet for Wayne County. And what they recommended is that we do an engineering study here in the county And so we've gone under contract with this company to have that work performed, and we're awaiting those results now. We should be getting them in within the next 45 days. But the contract was for a fixed internet network design for our county. It's a phase one. They offer a 3-phase implementation program here. Phase one is a study of the county, our resources, what facilities we have in place, what type of high-speed internet that we currently have. They'll do wireless equipment evaluation and recommendations, and they'll do the engineering for RF and our project plan for our county. We can move to a phase two, which is a test area if we wish to, or we could use this study to go out to other internet service providers and obtain their services. It's our product. In the end, it's our engineering survey to study to use as we wish. So phase two of their program, if we move to that, and when they determine that we can go with a fixed wireless internet program, would be to implement a pilot area, a pilot project. The pilot project would offer broadband service to a small list of initial users, and it is a demonstration of the capabilities of the wireless fixed service before proceeding to actually a phase 3 countywide deployment. So what you have to do is make a case study that in implementing that type of technology will be cost productive, and that it will be something that will be able to get enough customers to pay for it. And that's where we are. We're waiting. We should be within 45 days of receiving that engineering study back. And I'll try to answer any questions.
That study tells us what area we're going to do the pilot, is that right?
It will select
the most harm-rich environment, I guess you
that's
should
right.
say.
They'll make a recommendation as to a pilot area that we should move forward with. They probably have several of those. But the actual engineering study will take a look at the entire county and look at some of the, they'll look at our vertical assets. They'll look at where antennas could be placed, types of antennas, and the type of, when you take an antenna down, you've got to get back on the high-speed internet somewhere to be able to wirelessly antenna that out to customers. So they'll take a look at that type of engineering in order to see if we could, if it's something they can put in place here.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Chip, you mentioned towers. I would, by being wireless, I would think that you're going to have numerous tower sites all over the county. With that, the county owns some of our own towers, and we rent tower space from other companies. Would this play into enhancing us to look at adding more county towers or rent? A lot of the towers that's space is being rented on now, the space is run out. So, as we enhance our 911 call center and possibly add some more towers that the county owns, would that probably help this program? Or?
Yes. And that's some of the things that they'll be looking at in their engineering study. And that could potentially play a part of it, yes. And water towers are also another feature that they can utilize to, work with. And we've already gotten approval from the Wayne Water Districts to utilize some of their facilities. So, but yes, to answer your question, that may come into play down the road where we may want to take a look at that.
Yes, go ahead.
The chairman has worked, I know you said 3 years, I think it's 2 years, but it seems like forever, on this project. And to break that down from my limited involvement here, what I want the public to basically understand, and Wayne County to understand, and that is financially, this project is not feasible for AT&T or Sprint or anyone else to come in and basically do this project. And that's why we don't have it. So with that in mind, I am encouraging everyone in Wayne County to recognize that we all need to kind of chip into this project and support this project as a community effort. That means that the water districts, And those people that have assets that we would need to use to further this broadband, wireless broadband, we're asking them to actually come to the table and contribute their asset. We need to kind of come together as a community here in Wayne County to make this happen. We finally have got a company that's willing to provide the infrastructure. We need to provide some of the tower sites and those type of things to make it a dual project. And this can be done. It's a matter of whether or not we are going to charge outrageous fees for attaching these antennas to our water towers and other assets, or whether or not we're going to come in and basically say, let's do this for the good of our community. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Just add a few notes for those who don't know. Counties are not able to operate cable TV systems and internet systems. So this has to be done with a private company operating this and using our assets by placing their antennas there. Having said that, the equipment that they would use would be placed in their house, either bought or leased, as I recall, from the company for some who can afford the top end. And even at the lower end, I think it was $50 a month, I believe, you were able to open even e-books and that kind of thing, which is the concern because we've got kids now are moving to e-books away from textbooks going home and out in outlying areas. They just don't have any opportunity to connect to the internet. And going to Mr. Acock's point, I hope that we'll be able to use our existing towers and water towers without having to fund another tower of our own. It's just my hope, but we'll see what the study has to say.
Well, as the county has a large population and it's spread throughout our borders here. We have a lot of business that occurs outside of your corporate limits. Those types of businesses need access to high-speed internet. Schools are all going to the paperless textbooks. They're going to, as that technology advances, those students don't have access to get those books, do their homework, do their research. So that's kind of your driving factors here.
I totally agree. Anything else? Thank you, Mr. Crumper, and keep us advised of what's going on. Thank you. Mr. Wood, if you'll go ahead and talk about the change order, which is coming up next.
All right. In your packet on page 10, we have the proposal. I've given you a memo on that. The difference here, the reason that we need a change order on this is the Lot 8 in Park East Industrial Park that we're preparing so that we can build a shell building on it. And as y'all recall, the original specs on that were to dig down about 6 inches to remove the organic material and come back up with 2 feet of good dirt. In discussing it with our engineers, as y'all know, the problem we have is we have a very high water table out there. That's why we don't want to dig down too far. We've decided that after having a geotechnical engineer look at it one more time, that we should put 3 feet of good dirt as needed. What I've given you here is the worst case. This assumes that none of the fill that we have out there could be reused, but we don't think that'll be the case. We think we will be able to use some of it. So I've worst case this for you, and basically what it comes down to is that when you put it all together, it would be $175,854 more. I'm not more, excuse me, it'll be that. The original bid was for about 180, but it was to do a 100,000 square foot pad. We're going to reduce that down to just the 50. It'll actually end up being probably 55 to 60 because you've got to go beyond the actual building itself. So with that, we're basically swapping out. I don't think there'll be any additional money. The WCDA had provided $200,000 for this project. So with the $175,854, we'll be fine. And we're estimating about $9,000 for ECS out of Greenville to do the soil testing. And they'll be the company that tests to determine whether we can put some of the fill back in after we've excavated out. So with that, after we've excavated out the bad soils. So with that, we're probably looking at a change order of roughly $185,000. And again, they brought 200,000 to the table, so we're still within our budget. But this is a change from what we originally planned to do.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I make a motion that we approve the change order on the contract for the site work on Lot 8 in Park East Industrial Park.
We have a motion on the floor. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. It's unanimous. Thank you. Moving on. A.K. Grading.
Okay, the stream cleanout grant award, you'll see that on page 18 of your packet, we have a memo from Craig. Craig, do you want to go over this?
Be glad to. Good morning, Mr. Chairman and Board. As the board's aware, we've received approximately $461,435 from two grants. One from the North Carolina Disaster Recovery Program of 2016 and also Golden Leaf. And that was to do, that's 100% that they were paying for stream cleanout. We did bid this out, and I do want to thank Ashley Smith and Noel Woods for the work that they've done on this grant, and also for the proposals. They were very, very well done. That's the reason why I think we got such good bids in, and so we've gone through it. As you can see, we had 4 bidders. The range of the bid from a high of $605,137 to a low of $146,507 from A&K Grading. And after we received their bid, we met with them to make sure they understood the scope, that there were nothing missing as far as their understanding of what we were expecting, and they were very comfortable with what they submitted, so we would like to recommend A&K. With that being said, we had approximately $315,000 of additional money left in the grant. So Ashley, again, did a great job going back to both our grant partners, saying that we have this additional money. Can we use this on additional areas within Wayne County? And they both agreed. We will be working with A&K on those prices and using basically the same unit price that they used before on their original bid. So we do have a couple areas that we've listed. Thunder Swamp in the Mount Olive area. I think that's the area that you got from the board person from Mount Olive asking for that. Nahunta Swamp, and there's approximately 55 locations along the Neuse River, and the Poplar Branch to the Neuse is in the Marmac area. So with your approval, we would like to approve of A&K Grading for doing the stream clean out work, but also allowing us to work with them to go to the max on other areas that we can fund with the $315,000.
And we'll map these areas just like we mapped the previous ones, so that you'll know exactly what we're covering. And then if there's anything else, as he says in the memo, if there's anything else that y'all think may be an area we need to look at, please let us know, because we think we'll still have some money saved.
I do have one question, and it says, and I'm for all this, of course, but are we able to go into the Neuse River without the Corps of Engineers approval?
No, we can go up to it.
Okay, so that's what you mean, locations up to it.
Yeah, along, it says to the Neuse and along the Neuse, but we can't
I didn't think
get
we
into
could.
it. No.
Okay, that answers my question.
Sure.
Yes.
Mr. Honeycutt, you mentioned the disaster recovery program and the Golden Leaf grant, that they had give their blessings on using the other money.
Yes,
Did
sir.
you get that in writing?
Yes, sir, Ashley did.
Okay.
I think she has an email stating that, but yes, sir, we did check, and it was 100% that there's no problem.
All right. As long as we can document it.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Motion to approve Mr. Honeycutt's recommendation.
Got a motion on the floor. Is there any more discussion? Yes, sir.
I'd like to give a shout out to A&K Grading. That's a local company, and for their very reasonable bid, which will allow us to do a great deal more cleaning out of our streams in our county, and I'd like to give a shout out to them.
Yeah, we were very pleased with these bids.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Craig, you want to go ahead and handle the next one too?
Yes, sir.
We need to vote.
We need to vote on
Need a
that.
motion, excuse me, I'm sorry.
Is there any more discussion? All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Next is the sewer consolidation feasibility, and the rate study to look at Eureka and Fremont. As the board's aware, we received a grant from the Local Government Commission in approximately $50,000 that will look at rates for Eureka and Fremont, that will look at infrastructure, that will look at the possibility of merging our system, Eureka, Fremont, all into Goldsboro. So a lot of different things that we're asking this grant or this being funded by the grant to do by the consultants. So we've met, we sent out requests for proposals. We received one response. And the lucky thing about receiving one response, it was a very, very good response. And they've done this type of work before. We have Freese and Nichols who will do really the engineering and look at the feasibility side and looking at all the capital needs that all the systems have, look at the integration of all the systems. And then as the manager said earlier, Raptelis will really look at the rates and really has done an excellent job and has an excellent reputation of looking at the financial end on it. So again, we met with Kendall Lee, County Manager George Wood, Purchasing Director Noel Woods, and myself from the county, but also Scott Stevens from the City of Goldsboro, and Fremont Town Manager Barbara Aycock. And we did invite representatives from the town of Eureka, but they were unable to attend. However, they're fully aware of the proposal, they're fully aware of what we're trying to do, and they're all supportive of us moving forward with this recommendation. So we would like to recommend Freese and Nichols to do this work for us.
Is there a motion on the floor to accept the recommendation?
So moved.
Got a motion on the floor. Is any discussion? All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay, on the consent agenda, we went over that pretty much in the 8 o'clock hour, so I don't mean, if somebody's got any questions on it, I would entertain a motion to accept the consent agenda.
So moved.
Motion on the floor. Any discussion? All those in favor, please raise your right hand. New business. Let's talk about the engineering contract, Mr. Wood.
All right, we have yet another engineering contract. This one, we're recommending Withers Ravenel for the replacement of the substation near SBX. Some people refer to it as the Genoa lift station. As y'all recall, we got a $178,000 grant from the Golden Leaf Foundation to replace this one because it was flooded out in Hurricane Matthew. We sent out a request for proposals and narrowed those responses to the top 3 for interviews. The committee, again, was Assistant County Manager Craig Honeycutt, Facilities Director Kendall Lee, Purchasing Manager Noel Woods, our Chief Sewer Operator in charge, John Cash, and myself. The 3 firms that we selected for interviews were McAdams, Withers Ravenel, and Cox Edwards Company, Inc. The committee unanimously recommends that you authorize me to negotiate an engineering contract for this project with Withers Ravenel. We believe they have the best level of expertise in this field and are nearby in Cary.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Make a motion to authorize the county manager to negotiate an engineering contract with Withers Ravenel for the replacement of substation near SBX.
That is a mouthful, isn't
It is.
We have a motion on the floor. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please raise your right hand. It's approved. Okay. Is there a Matthew Livingston here from East Carolina Council? There he is. Okay. I've never met you before.
I've got my aging director here with me too, so I come a little bit prepared. He's been doing this for a while. My name's Matt Livingston. I'm the new ECC director here for Eastern Carolina Council. I'm very appreciative for being here, and thank you. This is my first presentation. My background is a manager, and I've worked in both county and town government. So hearing this so quickly again, I'm like, yeah, I've sort of been there and been exposed to those issues. But I did have a handout that kind of does a general overview of, if I may, Mr. Chairman, and it's got my business card on it too, so you can pass those down. And David, if you'd like to step up here, I'm going to have him kind of go over some of the things that our aging AAA Aging Department does. Again, thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here. One of the things when I came into this position, I've only been here 2 weeks now, so I'm really new, and it is a learning curve a little bit. One of the things I wanted to ask you guys is what you expect from the Eastern Carolina Council. A lot of the things we do, it's about everything we do is regional in nature. Some of the broadband studies that you guys are doing, we're doing as well, and of course those go across county lines, and it's definitely a regional issue. Just so you know, some of the things in Wayne County that we're doing, David will go over, and I guess he was here also for the Longleaf Pine Award, and so we were grateful to be a part of that as well. I'm not going to read over all these things about where the COG goes, where does your money go, what most pressing regional issues are today. I think I would just rather just kind of say, what is it that you'd like to see from your COG as member services go? And I'd leave it to you like that.
Okay. Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning. I've been with the Eastern County Council for about a little over 18 years. I've been on staff since 1999. I've seen the organization grow, take different twists and turns, but one thing that's always stayed a constant was the Area Agency on Aging and the services that we provide to older adults in the region. We've worked closely with all our counties, with the agency programs. Here in Wayne County, working with Wages and the Senior Center, we've seen those programs grow immensely, especially with the help of people like you as Seegers. Growing the Senior Center, looking out for the best interest of the older adults, and that's what we do. We ask the same thing in Wayne County. What can we do for you to make older adults' lives better, live at home longer, age in place, and save the tax dollar, a whole lot of tax dollar, because a lot of the services that we do, sometimes we have to farm them out to for-profit companies and try to get the best bang for your buck. So when we do that, we help with that process. We help looking for the best efficient way to use the tax dollars in Wayne County. With our agency, we help Wayne County by doing information brokerage, program development. We do quality assurance with the programs that you fund through the Home and Community Care Block Grant, the Family Caregiver Support Program, which is the program that helps caregivers take care of the ones that take care of those with dementias and Alzheimer's related diseases. So all in a nutshell, what we do is to help you, the county, help older adults age in place, find the best services to keep them at home as long as possible. Because we know living in long-term care facilities is hard for families, it's expensive, and overall, we really want to stay at home as long as we can. So this is a big part of what we do, and we have always done this for a long time. But we're always open for any ideas, we're always open to find a better way to do things, and our staff is very qualified staff through our ombudsmen, family caregiver programs, Money Follows the Person programs is what we have. That's a program where we help people who are actually in long-term care facilities who feel that they're in a better position than they were when they're in a nursing home to go back home. And these are Medicaid eligible folks. So keeping them at a nursing home, using Medicaid funds, or taking them home, which is a lot less expensive, where we find the services and we put the services in place for them to age in place as long as possible.
Questions?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
In this climate of the controversies over national health plans and all those kinds of things, and it sounds like Medicaid might be one of the things that would be most affected if some segment of the Congress gets their way. How bad will North Carolina be affected? How bad will our region be affected? Worst case scenario.
Well, worst case scenario, we're going to have to work within what we have right now. The Home and Community Care Block Grant funds and those kinds of programs that are not, there are programs for not Medicaid eligible folks. These are programs, there's no entitlement programs for Home and Community Care Block Grant, Family Caregiver Support programs. So aside talking from Medicaid funded programs, our programs will stay consistent as long as the federal government approves the Older Americans Act authorizations and the funding that goes along with it. So aside from the Medicaid programs, we try to keep those folks aging in place with meals, transportation, and those types of services. When Medicaid comes into play, that's more of an entitlement program through the Department of Social Services. those funds do affect our services. If those programs get cut, if those eligible reimbursement programs get cut, they're going to be more customers coming into the programs that we actually have right now. So we put a bigger burden on what we actually do. Looking forward, we're looking forward to partner with managed care organizations, the MCOs. That's a process that we're getting ready to start now with Medicaid, dual eligible Medicare older adults. Looking forward to find a better way to streamline the health care of older adults and the persons with disabilities by partnering with these organizations to find a better way to age in place and cut costs and be more efficient.
So if everything remains equal, you're saying we won't be affected?
I'm not saying that. I wish I could see the crystal ball ahead. With the Medicaid programs and the way they're changing right now, there is no tally right now for me.
One of the reasons I took this position is because I really believe in working together as a region to try to make things better. And that's why we have things like RPOs, and that's why the COG looks after your interests there. And we do a lot, and I realize Wayne County can do a lot of those things themselves, but we're also here for you if your planning director or staff has a question about something or how we're doing something, and helping these smaller towns in particular that maybe don't have the staff to do things. But even like Goldsboro, they'll call and ask for a price on the pain classification study. So we provide support at a cost that's a little bit below, a lot of times a lot below than what you get from consultants. But I think our major role in the area is bringing people together. And the reason when he called me here, I was like, I wanted to hear from what you guys think about what the COG needs to be doing. I work for you, so I want to know what it is we should be doing and how we should be doing it. And if you don't think that we're doing things right, give me a call. I definitely want to hear that too.
You want to go first?
No, go ahead.
I do have a couple things. Do a great job with our seniors, and we really appreciate that. And it's a really very important program, and that alone is worth the cost that we spend supporting the COG. Areas I wish you guys were doing rather than, you don't write grants, do you?
We apply for grants, yes, sir, economic development grants.
So you do write grants
Wayne
for?
County and the Wayne Community College has been asking us for the program. Through EDA, we do that, yes, sir.
Huh, I did not know that.
That's one of the things I'm finding, that there's a lot of need for me to get out and sort of advertise what we do.
Because I had the idea that all you did was identify where to go to write the grants, but we've been having to do those ourselves, but I didn't realize you had a grant writer on board.
Several grants, and part of grants is something we do a lot of. Judy did a lot of that, and EDA grants, any kind of grants that are out there, we'll give it a shot.
When you talk about supporting local jobs creation, what do you mean by that?
Well, what I'm talking about there is, as we work together on regional type projects, you get more bang for the buck. So, I'm meeting today with Craven County Manager and their Economic Development Director on some projects that will have a larger potential. And so that's what I mean, just working with partners to bring in.
So you're partnering with economic developers?
Absolutely, yes, sir. And we can help with that kind of the economic development grants and just talking about just different potentials on where we might want to go with things.
We might have been underutilizing you then.
It's a lot different than being a city or manager, because there's no like blueprint for things, but we're open to suggestion and trying to work with you as best we can.
All right.
I'm trying to choose my words
Since
carefully.
I'm thick-skinned and came from a management background. That's one of the things.
Well, it's really interesting, and I don't want to be too critical here. I'm trying to sanitize my, but it was, seriously, I'm surprised that you're saying you write grants, because I specifically remember a manager of one of our smaller towns stating that you would not write grants. I remember that specifically, but you all do write grants.
We do.
I wonder why he had the opinion that you did not do grants. Well,
Maybe he hadn't asked.
the what?
Maybe he hadn't asked.
Well, I don't know. He said you all would identify the grants, but would not assist him in writing the grants. And he did not have the technical ability to request the grant.
I know for a fact that the Eastern Carolina Council as a town manager wrote several grants for the town of Wallace, and I've used other councils before, and that I've seen the fruits of our labor in several grants, including the Project Bolt for the city of New Bern, which is a grant that we wrote with the EDA for over $1 million, and that's ongoing right now. And there's some discussions with Wayne Community College on EDA grant and some other things right now.
My limited experience, and I'm by the way, I'm the representative on the East Carolina, but my limited experience with the organization draws me to a conclusion, and that is that your work benefits our local governments a great deal more than it does our county. Now, agree short of your great work that you're doing in the seniors program. But most of your work, in my opinion, basically is for the benefit of smaller municipalities. And with that in mind, all you ask for direction, I would ask that you expand that as much as possible. Make sure they understand that you will in fact help them write grants, that you will go after grants that will help them, whether it's infrastructure or whatever issue they may have. Because for some reason they must not, at least that particular individual must not understand that you do provide that service.
I agree, and we do provide, that is more of a niche that we have, and in supporting the COG, we're able to do more things with the smaller communities. And
the one highlight of your organization is your RPO work. I mean, you all really have a real gem there. The gentleman that's heading that up, he's doing a great job, and I don't know what we would do without him. He's done.
At our level, we have folk that were able to do most of that. A athletic environment, if you will, near the old Carver High School. And the one thing that came out of that was, after you all came in and did some sort of analysis, there wasn't enough land to do what, at that time, the town wanted to do. And I haven't heard that discussed recently. I haven't asked the town about it, but that was the one thing that always, I guess, sort of hung in my mind as to how that decision was made and what were some of the factors that would have caused you not to recommend that property they had would have been suitable for a broad-based athletic program. And I don't mean just, and as it turned out, a portion of it is being used for a football field, but the original idea was that we would have had baseball, soccer, football, baseball inside of an imaginative multi-complex. But I just want to share that with you out. You've been there 18 years. You know, that was something that would have taken place 7, 8, 9 years ago, maybe. I've been around just that long. But
you've been around longer than that.
That is true. But thank you all for what you do. But it's just that the 2 or 3 years that I served on it just seemed like our local leadership here was handling most of those things that those small towns ask you all to do. But thank you.
We're here to serve you, and that's what my message is today. So, you know, I know you have the experience in-house. I've worked for larger counties, I get that. But there are certain things that we are doing for some larger counties that are specialized. It's not all health service related or aging related. And so there are things that we can help out, but we do have a need.
One last question, though. I could not remember, and this is just out of my memory. You all do a lot of work with small municipalities, but do you individually help nonprofits? Do you help nonprofits write grants? Do you provide information to nonprofits to write grants
that's part of it. There's a lot of them come to us, and we're meeting with some today at 2 o'clock, and we're talking about the feasibility of several different grants right now and what we can and can't do. So, yes, and we do that. They do frequently come to us asking for help.
One last request.
One more.
No, this is it. Somewhere along the way, I have an email address through the county. I wouldn't mind getting the information that, if it's possible, whatever you all gonna discuss today at 2 o'clock, is that gonna be information that will be packaged in a manner that one could get and read?
Well, I can tell you what we're talking about. It's an incubator kitchen. It has to do with working with some correctional folks about, getting a program up to help them reentry life, and that's another thing with the reentry council. And there's some people walking away unemployment, like you say, these are nonprofits in the community that are working right there in Craven County with that. And that's the gist of it. I'll know more about it today. I am just getting my feet on the ground and learning a lot, but I'm hoping that the things that I've learned through my municipal government and county government experience, a lot of it's transferable, but the other part of this job is it's really not like, it's really not like exactly like city or county management, because it's there's no real blueprint for it.
I'll use your card to maybe email you and ask you a couple of questions.
That's why I put it there.
Gentlemen, thank you for coming, and I've learned some things today, so we'll learn more, and he'll keep us up to date. Thank you.
Thank you again for inviting us.
Okay, we've done number 3. Let's go ahead and move to the video update.
We'll hold our breath. I jinxed you.
Yes, you did.
There it comes. There it comes.
Why?
Hi.
Hi.
I can't hear it.
I can't either. Why is it doing this?
I don't know.
Okay, let's try something here. It wasn't supposed to happen again.
I know, it did.
Oh, no.
Let's do lunch. Bye.
I'm getting evaluated today.
Oh, are you really?
Thanks so much.
Okay.
Oh, we hear anything?
Yeah, we
It's there.
It's just not coming.
I can hear it somewhere.
It's back there, but it's way back there.
You told me that you do the volume out of there, so.
There you go.
No.
Pass
You be
the blame.
All right, well, we're not going.
No, it's in there. No, I do volume if we have volume.
Okay, we don't have any.
We don't have the volume.
All right, well, moving right along
Move
then.
right along. Where's the,
It's in that
It's in there.
thingy.
Yeah, it was nice.
Maybe our interns can give us an update.
I'm going to table this the next time.
I have no idea why.
It's okay.
I have no idea.
It was from June anyway, so,
It was.
yeah.
History.
All right then.
Have a nice day.
That was nice.
There really wasn't much.
We enjoyed it.
It was good.
Well, let's move on then. Let's talk about, let's see here, our online mapping application.
Julio, you want to come up?
Yes, sir.
This is Julio Garrido. Julio is our new GIS coordinator, and he has put this together. We wanted to give you a demonstration of what this new program does.
Good morning, gentlemen. Like Mr. Wood said, my name is Julio Garrido. I'm the new GIS coordinator for Wayne County. Been with Wayne County for about 7-8 months now, and it's been a wonderful opportunity working with the county. One of the items, or actually the item I want to present to y'all is the new online mapping application that we have set up for the county. It is replacing our current online mapping application that's currently showing its age a little bit. We've had this application live for about 2, maybe 3 months or so out to the public, getting feedback, talking to realtors, talking to real estate agencies, trying to get their feedback from it, and from that, we've been able to compile what we're going to see here. Don't mind me, go ahead and open up a web browser here.
Maybe fix the volume while you're doing it.
Now, one nice thing about this current application is that it will work on any browser. Internet Explorer, Firefox, Chrome. It will work on different operating systems like Apple, Android, both smartphone, tablet, iOS, iPhone, iTablet, all those this program will work on. It's basically a website we have, wayne.connectgis.com. First thing that public will see, not only on their screen but also on their tablets or smartphones, is a disclaimer. Once we accept the disclaimer, map will start coming up for Wayne County. And there we go. Map of Wayne County. We still have the same basic tools that any mapping application would have, say for example the zoom in, zoom out type functionality. You can use your mouse wheel as well to zoom in or zoom out. And off to the left-hand side is our basic searches. We can add the parcel ID number. We could locate for an owner's name, say for example, start typing in my name, and the system automatically recognizes or tries to search the closest match to what I type in. So let's go ahead and type in my owner name, hit search, and the application will zoom into my property, and it'll show the owner name, PIN number, address, where I live at, how much I paid for my house, so on and so forth, and who the past owner was as well.
Mr. Chairman, can I interrupt you and ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
You said you've had this application for about 3 months?
Live, yes, sir.
Is it also tied into the tax department?
Yes, sir, it is.
That's where a lot of this comes.
Well, I mean, it just seems like here a couple of weeks ago, I was attempting to look up a individual, a property address and who the owner was and so forth. And I went through the tax department and I don't recall bringing this one up.
Okay. There currently still is the old system being utilized by the tax department right now. That system is going to go away at the end of the month.
I mean, this is what a lot of other counties are using. And
Yes, sir.
I'm glad to see you all finally get to this type of a program.
Yes, sir.
The old one is still, though, I'm telling you, online a couple of weeks ago anyway, through the tax department.
And it's still online today.
We need to change it over quickly.
As far as going to be changed over to this August 1st. That's when we're going to make the full cut over. If anybody tries to utilize or type in the website for the old website, it's going to automatically direct them to this new website.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir. So we have my current property right here. I can go to the tax department link and show the actual tax card for my property.
You got some realtors that are mighty glad to see this.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hold it right there just a moment.
Yes, sir.
Up in the left corner, my glasses are not reading 2020. That's the website you say that we would type in up in the corner right there where it says Connect GIS, is that?
That is the name of the application or the new public.
So that's what we would type in our smartphone?
Yes, we would type in this right here. That website, http wayne.connectgis.com, and through your smartphone, either iOS, Android, doesn't matter, even a Apple computer, you can type in that web address and it'll take you to this website.
Yeah, we'll have Carol.
Okay, thank you, sir. Because I can't see it in game. Thank you. Thank you very much.
And one final thing, and that is, are we putting a link on our homepage?
Actually,
It is.
there is a link on our homepage already. If I go to our homepage right now. WayneGov.com. Go to Government GIS and GIS Maps. We still have our old website, that old one that you were talking about, sir, but we currently have our Connect GIS, the new one right here, taking front position. After August 1st, this link will disappear, as well as this smaller link down here. They will both disappear from this website, just leaving the
And
Connect
why are we
GIS.
waiting until August the 1st? Is that a magical date or something?
It's not a magical date, it's just something I decided to give, after presenting it to the county commissioners and now also presenting it to the public so they are aware of it. It'll give them a chance to say, oh, we have a new application on site right now, let's go ahead and start using that, and also informing everybody, yeah, August 1st, let's go ahead and the old website is gonna be gone.
I'd delete the old one.
Yes, sir. So, my property, you can go to building collections, or I can go to the Register of Deeds. All through just one website, just go into one central location and go into 3 different links that will show all the information concerning that property.
And you simply, once you get to that website, type without either, to be specific to a piece of property, you just type in the address.
You can type in the address, 134 North John Street if you want to, and that will take you to that address. You can also use the PIN number for that property, or look for an owner name, and it will take you to that property as well. Actually, if you type in Smith, it will give you an entire list of everybody named Smith within Wayne County. And you can, the more you type, the more narrow that list will become.
Mm-hmm.
So, Register of Deeds here. And start bringing up the actual deed that we have in the system.
Fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
This saves a lot of time on our register of deeds staff as well.
Now, Now, one of the things we can do with this application is do a quick selection of different properties at one time. So let me go ahead and zoom out a little bit here and just show my current neighborhood. And I can say, well, I just want to select these folks right here. And that just selects those 4 properties. Or I can select more properties if I wanted to. Everywhere where I draw that shape, I can select those properties as well. And it will bring me a list down here at the bottom with everybody's information, as well as a separate link for each one for the tax department, building collections, and register of deeds. Now, one of the nice features is I can click on what's called a mail merge. And what this will do is it will produce a mailing list, or actually mailing labels, based on the standard labeling format that everybody uses, where we can go ahead and print out mailing labels for those properties that I selected. If mailing labels is not something you would like, we can also go ahead and export this list straight into an Excel spreadsheet where it can be used for other purposes.
So one of these fellows up here who plans to run for office 2 or 3 years down the road, they could just zoom into a neighborhood.
Hey, that's our secret.
Mark me off that list.
All right, let me go ahead and clear that.
That is
real quick.
fantastic.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Quick, little quick demonstrations that we have here. We can go ahead and click again on a property. And I can print information about this property. For example, it shows my property, where it's at in the big scheme of things, as well as a listing of all the information that we saw presented down at the bottom of the screen, along with a nice little disclaimer as well. And other items we can do something called a comparable search. Comparable search will take my property, the current property that I have selected here on the right-hand side, and it will take, say for example, search distance 1 mile, sale price, give or take $5,000. So what this will do is it will look for all properties within 1 mile that were sold, give or take $5,000.
Now you got all the appraisers happy.
Yes, sir. And it'll show that on the map, as you can see here, as long as it was a listing. And let's go ahead and create mailing labels for those folks as well. And finally, we are currently tied into, let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit here, to the oblique. We're currently tied into our aerials as well. Let me go ahead and turn those on. Aerial photography, 2013. And I'll show the 2013 photography. I'm currently in the process of putting the 2017 in place. It's just a time-consuming process to just get all that data uploaded to them. Not only can I do that, but I can do the oblique imagery, or the bird's eye view imagery, as some websites call it. And I can start rotating around the property to see different views and different angles of that same property.
This is why, the reason this is so good is when you go to do your reappraisals in a year, this is like walking the property.
Yeah.
Without doing it.
Only thing I'd say is flip the switch this afternoon.
All right, and a couple of more items, gentlemen. And let's go ahead and turn these items off. Zoom out a little bit. We can turn any layers on or off as need be. Say, for example, if we go into the planning side of things, we can turn on the Wayne County zoning and find out what zone these items belong to. Let me zoom out a little bit more. There we go. We'll see all the zoning that we have here. If we do have zoning turned on and we click on the property, for example, it will tell us zoning, RA20, residential, agricultural, and gives you a slight description as to what RA20 stands for. Not only can we turn those on, we can turn on the flood zones and find out whether or not your property falls in a flood zone or not.
Well, do you have legislative districts on there?
Legislative districts, yes, sir, I do. Let's go. One of the nicer items of the Connect GIS system is that we have different themes. The current theme that we're looking at right now is the tax theme. We can flip over to the election map, and it will turn on or off different layers that are based just on elections. So we have our electoral layers turned on or visible now. For example, where voting precincts are, polling locations, the county commissioner districts. Let me go ahead and turn on voting districts and turn on county commissioners districts, and I'll show each one. If I were to zoom in to my property or to my neighborhood and do an identify on my property, not only will it give me the lesser information about my property, but it will also give me what county commission district I belong to down here at the bottom. The more layers I turn on down here, say for example, U.S. Congressional, NC Senate, NC House, Board of Education, if I click on my property one more time, it will not only show you the same information I had before, but it will show you my U.S. Congressional, NC Senate, House, County, and Board of Election districts as well.
Show us the Senate. We have two senators that represent us in some fashion?
Well, currently, the information that we have right now is NC Senate. I am in District 7.
I'm sorry.
The current information that we have right now for NC Senate is that I belong in District 7. That's the only thing we have in there right now. Other items, I can go to layers again. We have election map, we have an economic development map, and we also have a visitor map. We'll have some information presented for them, where they can show one, for example, what school district I will belong to, what utilities are available to me if I buy this house, whether I belong to Tri-County or Duke Energy.
That's fantastic.
Gentlemen, so that is a quick presentation of the application. Do we have any questions concerning it?
Questions, comments?
Well, I think y'all can see Chip made a great hire 8 months ago.
I really like this.
Flip the switch.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for your presentation. Great job. Thank you.
Great job.
Great job.
All right, let's move on to 6. That's the awarding of the RFQ for the brick pavers.
Yeah, you have a memo that Carol handed out to you. We only had 2 vendors. We sent it out to 4, which we had located. There aren't that many of these that do this type of engraving. This is an interesting process. These guys actually use a laser to cut the brick in. And the reason that we like it is it kind of melts the brick and it forms a crystalline interior, and so it makes the lettering black and it holds up for years. So you compare that to normal brick engraving, which sometimes doesn't show up that great. This is a big improvement, and so we really like the product that they have. But the low bid is fundraising brick. They're out of a little town called Herman, Missouri. We've checked their website, went into great detail on it. They are the low price. This is done in batches of 100 is how you order these, and then they ship them in to you fully engraved. So we will be able to do it in other batches if we had people that come in after we've sold the brick and they say, well, I want to participate, we can put another order in and substitute orders in the future. So our recommendation to you is we go with the fundraising brick out of Herman, Missouri as the low responsible bidder. And they also come in, and one of the services they provide is helping us do a design on this as to how you lay the brick and that sort of thing, and make a decorative design there. And so they'll be providing all those services to James and our marketing committee on exactly how we want to do this. I think we'll also run it past the facilities committee too, because this will be the brick pavers on that plaza area. You know, part of it will be engraved, part of them will be regular brick. So we'll want y'all's input on that.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Mr. Wood, does this price, does that include the engraving?
Yes. But you do them in batches of 100.
Well, I understand that, but that's still
less
than what I thought it would be.
Yeah, we were pleased. And those were the 2 sizes, I think, that, Bill, we had discussed at length and felt that we would go with those 2 sizes. And with that, you can make a lot of different patterns with this stuff.
It's not necessarily what we're going to charge, you know.
No, this is wholesale. This is not retail.
I knew that. I want to make sure we were all clear. I just wasn't going to bring it up.
No, the difference is the fundraising.
Yeah. It's all about the money. Yeah.
That's right.
Would this engraving allow for logos?
It can. Those are some of the things we need to make a decision. The answer is technically yes. The question is whether you want to get that included or not.
Yeah.
So that's an issue I think we need to give a little more study to. We wanted to go ahead and get these people in, get the contract with them, get them in, talk with them a little bit more about these things, and then probably come back again to the facilities committee. And
well, you open up a great deal more if a company can use their logo to put that on there.
But you probably almost have to use the 8x8
Agreed,
to get
and
the
you may
logo.
charge more as
Right.
well.
And they do all of that. They
They
have
do.
all that into their.
But they
give you suggested pricing and what it'll generate.
But they have the capability of doing
Absolutely.
logos. Okay.
Absolutely, they
That's
have
all
the
I-
capability.
So if you haven't looked at their website, it's pretty.
It is
good.
impressive.
It is.
So-
We're not gonna get them to do.
We've been
going out
researching
and
this-
funding, I mean, our marketing force, we don't have them going out doing that,
Right.
because that's part of what they do as well.
Right. We've been researching this for several months. We feel like this type of technology was the technology we need to go to, not just your standard cutting in like you do at I guess like a, what am I trying to say?
Laser or
Well,
chip
like a
or-
cemetery,
Yeah.
a
Headstone.
typical cemetery stone cutting in. It's not burned into it.
Mr. Chairman, I will make a motion that we award this project to Fundraising Brick as the lowest responsible.
Okay, we got a motion on the floor. Is there more discussion? All those in favor, please raise your right hand.
And I guess it goes without saying, the reason we don't have this is unit pricing. We don't know what the units will be because we got to go through the campaign first, and then we'll know what we got.
All right, moving on, I guess we might need Chip up here again for the subdivision, Grayson Creek.
I appreciate you putting this on the agenda. I don't normally like to operate out of schedule, but I think the developer has a large sale of numerous lots, and he would like to get this
He
plat
does.
recorded. And we were having one issue out there with an emergency access, that was from 581 Highway that he needed to complete in order to come before y'all for.
And he has
approval.
completed that now?
We're gonna verify it, and I'm
Okay.
gonna have the fire marshal give me a letter on it, so.
You sure admitted he completed
Yes.
yesterday?
But it is a final subdivision plat approval for Grayson's Creek, Section 2. Owner developer is Cambridge Farms Incorporated. Dan Butler is the surveyor. It's located in the Buck Swamp Township, off of Noram Road. It's SR 1324, lots 25 through 65. There are 41 total lots. 2 tracts of permanently protected open space area with the extension of Kings Mill Drive, and 3 new streets named Joyland Drive, Knob Hill Drive, and Leland Drive. If we could get the plat up on the screen.
That would be helpful,
Yeah,
wouldn't it?
thank you. It is 4,000 feet north of its intersection with,
You want the other one? Hold on.
yeah, the other one. There we go. It is 4,000 feet north of its intersection with 581 Highway, and this section contains 22.15 acres. This property is not zoned. The average lot size is 19,689 square feet. Building lots will utilize public water and on-site sewer, septic. The property is shown within the urban transition area on the Wayne County Growth Strategy Map. Improvements are completed and an NCDOT Built to Standards letter has been submitted to the county. Until the streets are accepted onto the state secondary road system, the developer has signed a certificate on the plat stating that, regarding the maintenance of those streets. The permanent emergency access easement, as required on the preliminary, is from 581 into the subdivision. And we will make sure that that's installed and satisfied by the fire marshal's office. The plan in this subdivision is within the Charles B. Aycock, Norway Middle and Northwest Primary School Districts. It is serviced by Northwest Wayne Sanitary District. Little River Fire Department is the fire station that services this. EMS Station 2 would be your emergency services. It is within the Goldsboro MPO for transportation planning. It is within our water supply watershed area. There are no voluntary ag districts present on this site. There are wetlands, and it is within Board of Commissioners District 1. This map went before the Wayne County Planning Board at a previous meeting, and they recommended that the county commissioners approve it.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
We have a motion on the floor. Is there any discussion? Should we add in that motion that subject to the?
Yes, sir.
The verification of the emergency?
Yes, sir.
Exit by the fire marshal? If I said that right. Could I add that? Could you
Yes,
add
sir.
that?
Yes, sir. It should be in there.
Okay. All right. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of approve, please raise your right hand. We're approved. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And sell surplus property.
Right, you have, the last memo you have from Carol is from Noel to you and to me. It's a request permission to award real property. These properties are for tax foreclosure sales. We bought them together. You know, when we go through a tax foreclosure, they owe taxes on both the city and county. So our tax rates are almost identical, so we split it 50-50. The tax value is $44.80 on the first one. The offer is half that, $22.40. Same thing on the other one at $34,710. The offer is $17,355. And that follows the policy that the city has on that. So basically, together, we would get almost $20,000, so you'd get about $10,000 of that. And just as importantly, it put it back into productive use. So we recommend approval of it.
Any questions?
Where is Church Street or Creek Street?
I'm not sure.
Okay, it doesn't matter.
It's in the city of Goldsboro.
It doesn't matter.
We may need to get Julio back up here. Check that.
Mr. Chairman, I move approval.
We have a motion to approve. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please raise your right hand. We're approved. County manager's comments.
Mr. Chairman, if I could, this morning I forgot, well, never mind, it can go into my comments. I do want to hand out this. Let me grab one. Thank you. I want to go over with you a recent state statute change that affects our school system. When I met with Dr. Dunsmore yesterday to go over some timing on some projects, which I'll also share with you later, we started talking about this K-3 class size legislation, and he had brought this with him. So I wanted to give you an update on it. We don't have a solution yet, but they're working on some possible options on this. Then they'll get back with Craig and I, and then what I'm going to recommend is that we then have the two boards meet. You know, we periodically meet with them for a joint meeting anyway, and I think this warrants having another meeting on this. Let me go through this. Are there extra copies?
Yes, sir.
So this legislation goes back, he went over this with them at their May meeting. If you'll turn to the second page, class size requirement changes. Prior to 17-18, the LEA average was 21, but by state law, K through 3, the maximum class you could have was 24. Okay. House Bill 13, which the Senate amended, but this is what passed. They're basically setting one set of criteria for the fiscal, for the calendar year and fiscal year that'll start in August for our kids, and then the next one is for the following year. So over a 2-year period, we've got to meet these two criteria. They basically are saying that the LEA average, and the LEA is the local educational agency. So it basically is the school system. Okay. What they're saying is the average has to be no more than 20, and a maximum class size can be no more than 23. In other words, they give you some leeway. You can go over the 20 on some, but the average has to be 20. So if you've got some that are 23, another one may be 17 to offset that. Okay. Now, effective in 18-19, this is what we want to get to. Now they cut you back fairly significantly. And kindergarten, the maximum classroom size will be 21, but the LEA average has to be 18, so they're cutting us back to 18. First grade, I have no idea, and I asked him, why is the first grade lower than everybody else, but then you come back up? And I don't have an answer for that. He didn't either. I asked what the theory behind that was. He says there is no theory to it. They just did it. So The second grade is 17 and then 20 for the max. Third grade is 17 and 20. So if you look at the note, at this time, there's no change in the state funding formula. This is important. Districts would have to make adjustments within current dollar allotments. However, there are indications that an additional allotment category for positions in art, music, and PE might be established prior to the 18-19 school year. Now, basically what happens is that right now, the state gives us these additional teachers, but they can use those allocations for music, art, and all those things, and that's what they've been doing. So the problem is, as we have to provide more classrooms, because ultimately what this means is you've got to provide more classrooms. Because if you take, if you have 20, let's go back to the first page. We can put 21 to a classroom now. They're basically going to cut you back to 17, which means 4 kids out of every classroom, if they're full, have to come out. And we have to put them somewhere. So that's a huge impact on our system, bricks and mortar. It's also an impact if we have to pay for these teachers. If they, this just says might be established prior to the 18-19 school year. So the new language in the general statute, the next page, at the end of September and end of February of each school year, the local Board of Education, through the superintendent, shall file a report with the superintendent of public instruction in a format prescribed by the superintendent of public instruction, describing the organization for each school in the local school administrative unit. They have new reporting requirements. Basically what it's going to require is that, notice what it says, for each class in each grade level at each school, you have to provide the following. And so you basically got to give them how many kids are in each classroom. Then the number of program enhancement teachers, and for the purposes of this subdivision, enhancement teachers are teachers who teach any of the following: arts disciplines, including dance, music, theater, and the visual arts, physical education and health programs, and one that really surprises us is world languages, because it's like they call that an enhancement, but in order to get into the better universities in the state, you have to have 2 years of a foreign language. So I don't consider that an enhancement. That's pretty basic. The source of funds used to pay each program enhancement teacher. So the new language in the general statute, the next page, the superintendent of public instruction shall conduct periodic audits of the information reported by the local superintendent under this subsection to confirm the accuracy of reporting at the local school administrative unit and school level of the average and individual class sizes. So that's just saying that that the state will come in and audit our attendance in those classrooms. The next one says that there are penalties if the superintendent knowingly falsifies those records. And essentially what it says later on is they won't give you the state funds to pay his salary, but you can't cut his salary. So all they're really saying is they'll take the state money for his salary and you'll have to pay it.
Really?
Yeah.
That's what it says.
Yeah. Penalty for noncompliance, 2 pages back. That's what that says. So, here's where the rubber meets the road. Next page, potential allotment changes. Wayne County Public Schools will need approximately.
Just assume you'd keep the mobile units.
I think you're going to have to.
Well, yeah, you would.
I mean, on this timeline. That's not to say you wouldn't move them out later.
We certainly can't build our way out of this. We can't afford to do much more than
Well,
we've done.
what you're looking at, 30 classrooms, what Dr. Dunsmore says, if you go K through 5 in an elementary, that's 6 grade levels. And you can figure on about 5 classrooms of each one, so that's 30 classrooms. So basically what we're looking at is another elementary school.
I think we need to look at those empty classrooms we got around
Well,
the
they're gonna
county
do that.
and
They're
try
gonna
make
do
that
that.
point on a regular basis.
And that's what they're looking at. So the next page is potential facilities, implications. Conversion of art, music, and physical education facilities into regular education classroom space, increased use of modular or mobile classrooms, pending capital funding. And so what I wanted to go over with you is the state has passed some legislation to where Tier 1 and Tier 2 counties, and we're Tier 2, are eligible for some additional capital funding. Y'all remember we had talked about that. Now what Dr. Dunsmore is saying is that he thinks we're eligible for $5 million the first year or two, and then another $5 million the next 2 years. So you'll have up to $10 million coming in. The state is also talking about a $1.5 billion bond issue, but they're not talking about giving you the money, they're talking about loaning you the money. You know, they're a AAA, you're a AA, it's not going to save you a whole lot of interest rate. So that's where we're at on it. Again, they're working on options to meet all of this, including do we need to move attendance lines? Y'all have seen the articles in the paper where they're discussing that now. But all of this has got, it ties together about how do you redistrict, how do you utilize any free space we have, and then we see where we're at. But I wanted y'all to be aware, this has passed the legislature.
Had they mentioned anything about the availability of teachers, new teachers for all these new classrooms?
Not at this point.
I mean, it's supposed to be a scarce of teachers.
Right. And that may be another issue, but they're working on, you know, solutions to all of this. I just wanted to give you an update because the legislature, you know, has just finished everything on the budget and everything, and this has passed. So this is where we're at.
Mr. Chairman, I got in trouble at our last meeting on comments on the school board, so I got to be careful here. However, that said, it may be that the school board looks at this as that's next year. Time flies very rapidly, and the school board needs to work on their plan for better use of the facilities that they have to make sure that we use those classrooms rather than building new ones.
Joe, you're exactly right. That's why I wanted to bring this to you now, because I wanted you to be aware of it.
But do understand, we can't make those determinations. We need to do all we can to encourage the school board to have those meetings early on to make a determination of how they're going to better utilize it.
We've asked them to try to have something to us by September, to where we can at least have a meeting of the two boards. We may not have a solution at that point, but we'll have some options and we can talk about everything.
Well, I wasn't real pleased to hear that with Tommy's Road, if I recall, there was $300,000 that they had to spend of local funds in order to bring those mobile classrooms in.
It'll be closer to $400,000 by the time they get them set up.
I mean, it was a lot of money that they were using in order for, basically, they were looking at it for a year's period of time there.
Given this, I don't know that that's going to be for a year.
You're right. I think they knew they were going to stay there. But we do need to go ahead and come up with a plan pretty rapidly.
Right. And speaking of that, they are moving forward with their projects, and I'll hand out to you later a schedule. I think y'all had asked for a schedule on their construction. I've got that as well.
Oh, that's how I got in trouble. That's right.
Yeah. With that said, just the rest of my comments, we're gonna be negotiating with 3 engineering companies. I think we've got 3 outstanding engineering contracts we've now got to negotiate. We'll also be, this week, taking start our tours of the public safety facilities. We're going to one in Rowan County, Gaston County, and Asheville. So that's gonna be a 2-day trip, and then we'll be back, and then we're going, the other one is down to Cape Fear Community College, and I don't remember the other. We're going to 5 over a 3-day period. So we're taking our committee with us. This has some of the fire chiefs on it, has the dean from the college, and of course our staff here. So on one of those, we'll be leaving tomorrow morning early, real early. And that's pretty much it. We continue to work with James on all of the policies and procedures on the Maxwell Center, which does bring up one thing. We would like, it'll have to be next week because of these trips, but we would like, starting next week, I'd like to start bringing y'all in and start giving you some updates on some of those policies and get some input from you on that. But I don't know that that's something we want to take time in one of these meetings. I'd like to just bring y'all in, maybe 2 at a time, and just go over some of that.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Wood, which facility are you going to?
Tomorrow, we're going to the one in Rowan County, that's Salisbury. Then we're going to Gaston County. So we'll see those tomorrow, because they're relatively close together. Then we'll drive to Asheville and just spend the night, and then we'll tour Asheville in the morning, and then drive back. But those are 3 we've been told are very good, as you know.
I've been to the one in Buncombe County, and just, that would be a dream for us.
Oh, I know.
You get some good ideas, but don't get carried away.
Well, that's why I'm going. I don't want people getting carried away.
You might want to take that one off the list.
Yeah. Well, we want to see
parts of theirs that you can use, but
Yeah.
I mean, they build everything from scratch.
No.
No, we haven't.
No. But we're doing kind of like we did with the jail. Y'all remember, y'all all went on the tours of the jail. We did come back, all kidding aside, with some very good ideas. So we think we're going to see some very good ideas here. But then, just like we did with the jail, we're not going to incorporate every good idea we saw. So that's pretty much my report.
In view of time, if you got pressing comments, I'm talking to the commissioners, and by all means, I want you to say them, but we still need to go back to closed session, and let's get back together and talk about this evaluations too. So if you got something you need to say, go ahead.
I got a peanut cut in my throat, so.
If not, I'd like.
Right quick, the Firefighter Association does meet tonight, and they're meeting at Northeast in Eureka.
Yeah, I got a call.
So keep that in mind. I got one quick question for Mr. Wood. The dental lab, I've seen it sitting out at facilities now for probably close to a year. Is that?
It's not, well, it hasn't been that long, but remember.
He's close to it now.
Well, he's had to hire a new dentist. So I think we've got that person on board now. So that should be coming on board.
Well, if
Well,
not being used, if it's not being used and we don't have anybody on board,
well, that's the
put it on surplus property and get rid of it.
No, that was the holdup.
Okay.
Was him hiring a dentist.
It's very hard to find one that's willing to come for what you pay.
I understand what the problem is, but the problem is we got a lot of money invested in it be sitting out there at facilities accumulating dust.
Let's go to closed session.
Everybody should go to closed session.
Same things that you did this morning, just consider the company performance of town employees.
Those in favor of going to closed session, please raise your right hand.